Same order that you're listing.
Yeah. So we've got designation,
Yeah.
then mass,
Yeah.
then height,
Yeah.
width,
Yeah.
web,
Yeah.
flange,
Yeah.
radius, then depth.
Right, cool. First one on the list is...
Is 9. You're having a laugh, man. That'll take us forever.
Oh, come on, get on with it. Nah, I'm only joking. I've actually got it here. So what we can do is, it's the same table that Ian's got, available off the internet, all the standard sizes. All I'm going to do is just going to copy and paste them from the table in Word. Straight into AutoCAD. There's all our sizes. Okay. Now I've got my block table. Let's go in and edit this now and test this block, see what's going on. Okay, so there's my block. Select my block. Here's the sizes in my list. Look, I can change this fully parametric based on them sizes. It's listing all the other attributes here. But I've got a few problems with it. One, I need to get rid of this construction line. The second one is I can still make non-standard sizes, so I might have a list of all the standard available sizes, but I can also break that. I don't really want to be able to do that. And thirdly, this list just goes on and on and on. It's massive, so I don't really want that. So let's just close this down. Let's change them, make them problems go away, shall we say. Let's just convert my geometry. So that's now to block construction geometry. Let's go to my block table, and in here I've got this little tick box that says block properties must match a row in the table. So it will only let me have a size that is available in the table now. The other thing I want to do is designation is probably not the best thing to list it by. Depth has multiple assignments for multiple beams, so we can use depth as probably a better one. So we'll click OK. Let's test that again. Here's my block. Come in. The only option I've got now is the table, and now I've got all my different sizes. I can come in and I can choose to whichever size I want. I think that is fantastic. Ian, can you use that in LT as well?
Yeah, here's my LT again, guys. Okay, so we've got our standard block, and we've been able to do this since 2006, haven't we? We've been able to change the sizes of things in there with it being dynamic. But there's a new feature for AutoCAD LT users. It's not new for AutoCAD users, and it's the align command. So if you've got AutoCAD or anything above that, like map or civil or anything like that, then this isn't new. But if you've got LT, this is new. The align command, there isn't a button for it, so if you want to come on my training course, I'll teach you how to make one. But I'm just going to insert, done it the old way, that's a pint IOU. I'm going to insert some structural work here, and we'll just stick it in at an odd angle here, like that. Boom. Alright, and I'm going to align these two together now. So we'll use the align command. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to align that structure onto my universal beam. And it's just asking me for the source point. So I'll pick that source point there, and I'll put it on that destination point there. And then I'll pick that source point there, and I'll put it on that destination point there. And it'll ask me for a third one, but I don't need one. I'm happy with just them two, so I'll just press enter. And then the next question is, do I want to scale the objects based on the alignment points? Well, obviously in the real world, you're not going to scale your structure to fit your universal beam. You're going to get the right blooming universal beam. But just to show you what happens, I'm going to say yes, and it will align the two objects up for you nicely. So that's new for LT users.
That's really cool. Now at the beginning we said we're going back to basics. I'm going to show you basic CAD principles, and you're all going, "You've just shown us parametrics, that's like really cool, high-tech new features." Well, actually, parametrics is the fundamental aspect of CAD. Back in 1962, a guy called Ivan Sutherland invented, which was probably the first ever CAD system ever invented, called Sketchpad. We actually have a video here. The commentary is from 1987, but this technology is, best part of 46, 47 years old.
Movie of Sketchpad taken in the summer of 1962. So this is 25 years old. Rubber bands you're familiar with, but look at what he's doing. He's pointing at the edges and saying, I want them to be all mutually perpendicular, and Sketchpad just figured out how to do that. Sketchpad is the first system to ever have a window. He's actually drawing on a virtual sheet of paper about a third of a mile on a side. And again, to get something he wants, he simply sketches it in roughly and then gives rules like be parallel and perpendicular, and Sketchpad figures out and solves the problem.
Again, why has it taken AutoCAD until 2010 to introduce parametrics?
Yeah.
The interesting thing there is, notice he's actually using a pen. They actually discovered quite early on that it's a really bad way of working. because if you actually use your hand that way up, after about 6 minutes, all the blood's run out of your hand, and it with pins and needles, and you can't work. Even though that is a problem, it's been reinvented about 4 times since 1962 and failed each time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you another new feature in AutoCAD. We're going to show you mesh modelling. Now we're going to show this because some of you might find it useful, but I reckon the majority of you won't. You might play with it and you might find a use for it eventually. The new mesh modelling allows us to create these primitives, so sphere, torus. Ian's just created a rectangular box, and now what he's doing is he's going to select faces. We can choose how we select things in this modeler. We can either select edges, faces, or the actual node points as well. And he's starting to pull this up. Yeah, anyone guess what it is? Ooh, no.
Well, someone said a car yesterday.
Yeah, we had a car yesterday. It's not a car.
It's obviously...
Right area alphabet. No? As soon as you guess what it is, there's a memory stick in it for you.
As long as you've got one over now.
Oh, I've got it. Where's Darren?
Is it not press and pull command? Does the same thing?
It does to a certain degree, but this is actually using mesh technology rather than the solids. So the push-pull 3D technology that's in there actually creates solid. This actually gives us the benefit of being able to manipulate it a bit more like you do in Max when you add a turbo smoother to things. Because what Ian's about to do is we're going to actually add a turbo smooth to it, which is the object enabler within Max. So you can actually now start to smooth it, which straight away just takes it beyond what we actually had in the 3D technology side. He's going to manoeuvre things around here, and he can start to manoeuvre these objects. He can move the faces, he can scale the faces. He's just going to scale this front part here, make that a little bit bigger. We can extrude these faces, and we can do various other things to it. No one guess what it is yet?
Yeah, somebody said it over here.
Who said it? Put your hand up. Who do I owe a memory card to?
Yeah,
right, we'll get you a memory stick at the break. There we go. I just put a crease on the end of that here, and what we have is a camera. Now we can take these mesh models a bit further, because then what we can do is once we get the mesh, is we can convert it back to the solid. So what Ian's going to do is going to convert back to a solid now. As a solid object, we can then start to think about maybe printing it. Now, has anyone come across 3D printing? Yes, I'm sure some people have heard of it. It's getting a lot cheaper than what it used to be. I saw my first 3D printer when I was about 18. I was at college doing my A-levels. And it was sort of like a multi-million-pound development thing that they had at Leeds University. But nowadays, something like a Z Corporation printer, or a Z Corporation if you're English, for about £18,000. And we use powder technology. Basically, it's plastic powder that we lay out, then melts it with a heating head, and it also uses standard inkjet printer technology to actually colour the polymer as it's building it up, and you can print things out. In fact, we were so impressed with Ian's camera that we sent Ian's camera off to be printed, and it came back and we were really impressed. In fact, it was so good it actually worked. Smile at everyone there. Wow, look at that, fantastic. No, I'm only joking.